In Knock at the Cabin, a group of people must face certain death. Otherwise, well, the apocalypse is going to happen. And the whole world is going to be destroyed? What's up, everybody? Your friendly neighborhood Tony here. And no, this is not The Cabin in the Woods, although there are a few similarities, so maybe we'll get into that a little bit. The fact of the matter is, I just went and watched M. Night Shyamalan's latest movie, Knock at the Cabin, and I want to tell you a little bit about it. So as I do with all my reviews, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about the movie, the plot, who's making it. Then I'll go into the things I liked about it, followed by the things I didn't like, and finally, whether or not I recommend you check it out. If that kind of thing sounds good to you and you want to see more movie reviews just like this one, make sure you subscribe. So as I said, Knock at the Cabin is directed by the legendary and sometimes infamous M. Night Shyamalan. Although the movie is directed and the screenplay is written by him and a couple others, it is based on a book by Paul Tremblay called The Cabin at the End of the World. And to give you a little bit of a better plot summary, since it is definitely not exactly like Cabin in the Woods, in Knock at the Cabin, a young girl and her parents are essentially taken hostage by a group of people who come off as a bit insane because they are telling them that one of them, the family, will have to choose to die. Otherwise, the world will be destroyed in an impending apocalypse. So, of course, a big part of the movie is, are they being honest? Is the world really going to end? Or is this just some crazy cult that is trying to get them to choose to kill one another? Starring in Knock at the Cabin are a few names that you will definitely recognize. For one, you have Bautista. There's also Rupert Grint from Harry Potter fame, as well as Ben Aldridge and Jonathan Groff, who are playing the parents of the young girl. So let me go ahead and start off with my pros, because I do have a few of them. For one, the cast that I just mentioned and a few others are phenomenal. Dave Bautista plays kind of the leader of this crazy group of individuals, and this might very well be his best performance that I've ever seen. I mean, if you weren't sure if Dave Bautista was a legit actor, watch this movie. Not only is he great in this, but you can really see how over the years he has just improved and improved. I'm telling you, this guy takes his craft very seriously, and I'm really excited to see what else he does in the future. Of course, there are several other actors and actresses in the movie that I think do a very good job. For me personally, it's nice to see Rupert Grint in here. He's worked with M. Night Shyamalan before, and he does a fantastic job in this as well. Even though his role is a bit smaller, he has a few moments where he is allowed to really just go crazy, and it is awesome to see. Also, I'm a big fan of Jonathan Groff. I first saw him in Hamilton, where he plays the king, and man, that guy can sing. But not only that, he's a great actor, so he really gets to emote a lot in this movie. So just for me, it's good to see them. I'm just a big fan. And who I am now a big fan of is the young girl that plays the daughter in this movie. Her character's name is Quinn, I believe, and she's played by Kristen, who is just a little kid at this point, but I'm very interested to see what she does going forward. She is very, very good, especially for somebody her age. In addition to having a really strong cast, the movie is very well shot. It's very simple. They don't do a lot of crazy, over-the-top events or anything on screen. It's a character-driven film. So the focus is these people in this cabin, and it stays focused on them pretty much the entire movie, so much so that there's a lot of really good close-ups. A lot of times when you're watching someone talk, so for example, when Dave Bautista is explaining to them how they're going to have to kill one of them, it's showing you a first-person, dead-on, close-up view of him as if you are communicating with him. So you're not a third person in the room, but rather you are one of the individuals involved. So M. Night Shyamalan does a great job of really tying you in emotionally and connecting you almost uncomfortably with what's going on. I also really like just the concept. I know that's not necessarily a product of M. Night Shyamalan and really more of the actual writer of the book, but the concept is really interesting to me. I joked around how we've kind of seen some similar things with Cabin in the Woods, where the apocalypse was going to happen unless certain people died, but I still find that that's a very interesting idea, and that might start, though, to leak into some of my cons, because I feel that where the majority of the tension of the movie is in whether or not these people are being honest. Is the world really going to end unless we kill one of us? Or possibly even more scary is, are we just being held hostage by some absolute psychopaths? And I feel like that is where the majority of the tension in the movie is. And unfortunately, and now we're getting into my cons, about halfway through the movie, and I'm not going to spoil it, but about halfway through the movie, they make it pretty clear which is the reality. And so from then on, you're still dealing with the situation you're in, but there's a lot of air that's let out of the balloon at that point for me. Also, I feel like there were some issues with the screenplay itself. One of the major rules in filmmaking, you hear it all the time, it's show, don't tell. So of course what they mean by that is show us what you mean, what you want to express. You don't have to tell us. You don't have to give us exposition and just spell out exactly what's going on all the time. And I feel like M. Night really fell into that trap in this movie. There are a number of moments where we are just expositionized. We're just told exactly what's going on. Again, I'm not going to give you specifics because I don't want to spoil anything, but there were certainly a few moments where I had an idea of what was going on, and then just a couple minutes later, a character just spelled it out in a very clunky way. And not only is that jarring when you're watching the movie because it kind of takes you out of the reality of what's occurring, but it removes a lot of the intrigue. Now, I'm not saying that all of M. Night Shyamalan's movies have to have crazy twists and, have you guessing and wondering about what actually happened and what it all really meant, but you can at least leave a little bit of that intrigue so that there's a reason to go back and watch the movie again, or something to talk about if you're watching it with friends and you're going to grab dinner afterwards. If there's room for interpretation, even if it's very obvious what's going on, you can at least still talk about that. But when one of your main characters says, this is exactly what happened, then what kind of conversations do you have after that, other than, oh, that was an all right movie? So overall, I feel like M. Night Shyamalan has some movies that are incredible. He has several movies, which is, not a lot of directors and writers can say this, but he has several movies that are classics. He also has several movies that are complete dumpster fires. And this movie is probably his most middling movie, at least as far as I've seen. It isn't a classic by any means, but it's also not terrible. It's just fine. So I certainly don't regret seeing it in theaters, and if you want my recommendation, I think it's a cool movie to check out, maybe for a matinee, or if you don't really have much going on this weekend, you can hop over and watch the movie in theaters. But really, this is one that I would wait until it comes out on streaming, which is unfortunate because I do really like a lot of the performances. I think, again, Dave Bautista is amazing. Give him all of the roles now, please. But yeah, for me, as far as going out and seeing it in theaters or waiting to rent it or watch it on Netflix or whatever streaming service, I would have to lean towards that. But of course, these are just my thoughts on the movie. I'm just some dude on the internet. Let me know what you think in the comments below if you have seen Knock at the Cabin. Did you enjoy it? What did you or didn't you like about the movie? Also, I want to let you know I'm going to be doing an M. Night Shyamalan ranking in the next couple days here. So I'm going to go over his top 5 movies of all time. So if you want to see if Knock at the Cabin is able to squeak into that top 5, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see that. And just for a little pluggy plug, if you want to support me and the channel, I've got an Amazon affiliate link at the very beginning of my description box. If you plan on buying anything on Amazon today, if you click on that link, it helps me out. And of course, it doesn't cost you anything at all. But as of right now, that is the only way I'm making money on this channel. So if you want to support, that's how you can. But that's going to be it for me for today. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Be good.